What's up guys? Before we get into the video, I just wanted to say that I did have a couple Christmas ride videos that I made, but then a couple interesting things happened, which I talk about in the actual intro of this video. But just want to let you guys know, Merry Christmas to all you guys, since I didn't get a video out yesterday. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the actual intro of this video, where I talk about a couple things on the KLX. What is up guys, welcome to another video. Of course we are here in the Corvette today, as the title and thumbnail suggests. A little update for you guys, I have two KLX videos coming up that are quite interesting to say the least. I'll put a couple of clips in there for you guys now, and it's a little bit of a teaser for you guys. So that first clip, that video will be out tomorrow. The second clip will be out this weekend. But as you can see, it's going to be a pretty interesting video, and let's just say I probably need a new part for the KLX, but I'll explain that in that video. But today we're going to be talking about the perfect amount of power for the streets. Been kind of thinking about this, as there's a certain limit for the power of a car on the streets, where the car would just become unusable and not fun to drive because you couldn't get on the power for more than a couple seconds without getting pulled over. Of course, this is all just my thoughts, and I need an excuse to go out and drive my car. So before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, get the bell on. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the first of the year. We're getting pretty close, but again, thank you guys for all your support. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. At the wheels, this car makes about 580, so if you want to do your conversions, conservatively you could say it's about 680 at the crank or 700, but at the wheels is probably all that matters. Well, it's not the only thing that matters, but that's what most people go by. So we'll say 580 at the wheels, and then if you want to compare that to other vehicles on the market, they're mostly rated at crank horsepower, so 700 crank in this car. Alright guys, so just so we're clear, here's the tread life on the front tire, since we're talking about traction limits and power limits for the street. Here's the back tire, if you guys can see that in there, and there's the approximate depth of the tread right there. But if you guys want to know all the mods, they're down in the description below. Yeah, let's go ahead, go for a drive and talk about what are the limits of power on the street. Alright, so my car has the Magnuson option here. I am in Sport, so the rebound and all that should be a little bit more aggressive and controlling the bumps on the road. But we're gonna be on the GoPro here, getting some shots, getting some driving shots here real quick. And there's the converter locking up. So as you can see there, putting down the power, rolling onto the highway is not an issue. Before we get it running, I'd say that this power level right here, about 700 crank, 600 plus or minus at the wheels, is right about perfect for the street in a car that weighs about 3,000 pounds. At this power level, it's just the right balance between having to pedal the car to get off the line, and at city speeds, having enough power to spin the tires, stoplight to stoplight, and have fun. Alright guys, so we're going to get a little launch from a dig here real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If you just pedal it, you can get a good launch. traffic, because people don't know how to merge. Instead of accelerating to traffic speeds, they just figure they might as well stop in the merging lane and wait until someone lets them over. Now let's go ahead and talk about whether you think the limit to the power on the streets is how much traction you have to put the power down, or the amount of power to be able to make pulls on the highway or wherever you're at on the street. Like I touched on before, at the power level I'm at right now, it's the perfect balance of being able to spin the tires when I want to, or pedal the car to actually get off the line and go somewhere and get that G-force feeling of acceleration. So that raises the question, does that mean more traction means more fun? And therefore, if I put some stickier compound tires on this car, that I could up the power level a bit, and I wouldn't be at the limit for the street. So I could put a cam in this car and do meth injection, and let's just say conservatively I'd probably get up to 630 at the wheels. But then I also decide to put some R compound tires on here. Would that mean that I have therefore raised the limit for street power? And the reason I say yes is because, of course, if I had more traction, it'd be a lot easier to put the power down, and then I'd also be able to accelerate quicker, get higher G-force acceleration, and in my opinion, that equates to more fun. That's why I say yes, traction does play a factor in how much power you can have on the street, because basically what it does is it just turns the power that you have into more usable power. I also say no, because if I were to add more power and I had greater traction, that means I would accelerate quicker, and that's less time on the throttle, less time experiencing those G-forces, to where you're just getting on the throttle and just like that you're up to the speed limit, 35 miles an hour in the city. Not saying that people always drive the speed limit, but there's a certain point to where you can't just be booking it down the city road at 65 miles an hour. So that's why I say adding more traction to the car does raise the limit of power that you can make usable on the street, but with more traction, it also means less time on the throttle, less time you're experiencing those G-forces, which in my opinion is the fun part. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which relates to the last topic of how long you can have your foot on the gas, and that's the amount of time that you can have your foot on the gas without going to jail. So again, I think 700 horsepower in a 3,000 pound car like this, I think that's pretty well balanced for being able to make highway pulls and not go 0 to jail time like that. So as you guys saw there in one of the first pulls earlier in the video, I was able to have probably a good at least 5 seconds of acceleration. Just say I wouldn't get jail time if I got caught accelerating onto the highway like that. So that brings up the question again of if I added more power to the car, and let's just say you got up to like 800 wheel, somewhere around here in Portland, Oregon, would that be too much power to be able to have some fun? If you guys want to take a look at Portland, Oregon on a map, you guys can see that there aren't really too many highways that'll actually allow for some acceleration runs. But talking about these topics kind of gets you wondering about, will there ever be a limit to how much power cars come from the factory with? You see Dodge, of course, has had the Hellcat for a while, but even most family sedans now are coming with 300 horsepower, and they're accelerating to 60 in less than 6 seconds. So is technology advancing enough to the point where you can add more power to the car because the technology in putting the power down actually makes the power come on in a controllable manner? Or are we just adding more power because all this stuff should be used at the track? And it's just nice to know that if you wanted to, you could step on the gas and get to 100 miles an hour in less than 8 seconds. One of the YouTubers I watch, Modonosity, was actually just talking about this issue for motorcycles, and he was talking about, you know, there's so much power in motorcycles now that the technology is actually the thing that allows the manufacturers to keep putting more power into them, because the technology is just basically limiting how much the bike will wheelie when you get on the throttle, and minimizing tire spin as well. Pontiac GTO, huh? That's nice. Alright everybody, that wraps up my thoughts on how much power is too much power for the street. I think the way this car is set up, 700 horsepower at the crank, 580 at the wheels, weighing in at about 3,100 pounds, is the perfect balance for the street. Like I said, if you want to spin the tires, you can spin the tires on demand pretty much at anything less than 60 miles an hour. Or you can pedal it and get that nice acceleration G-force. But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. How much power is too much power for the street? Like I said, I think right around 700-ish, maybe a little higher. 800 is probably the perfect limit. Also, what do you think? Do you think that how much power is usable on the street is limited to the traction you have? Like I said, being able to put that power down, does that mean it's more power is usable because you have more traction and you don't have to fight as hard to put that power down? And just like the technology thing, traction control being advanced, you can just mash the throttle and you'll go. Or do you think it's a hard number to where if you get above XXX horsepower that you're not going to be able to use it because you'll get on the throttle and just like that you'll be above the speed limit and going too fast? Alright guys, hopefully I got a couple good sound clips and driving clips for you guys. But just like that, this video is over. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share it to your friends, those who may enjoy it. Also, be sure to smash that subscribe button, help me reach my goal of getting to 500 before the first of the year. And go ahead, comment down below what you think the perfect amount of power is for the street. Like I said in this video, just explaining my thoughts on how much power I think is usable on the streets, but let me know what you guys think, what factors play into it, and of course, as long as you're in a car and you're having fun, that's all that matters. So, with all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm the motherfucking greatest, yeah, I'm the greatest, bitch. My competition, they don't fit that niche. You can try to take a shot at me, I will not flinch.